Have you ever asked yourself why, even when you're winning, you still feel like a silent imposter? You perform, you deliver, you achieve. But when you're alone, something inside you stays unsettled. It's not fear, it's not regular insecurity, it's something else. A quiet kind of pain, chronic, like a constant gray backdrop, a noise that never fully goes away, even when the world is cheering for you. You try to ignore it, but it's still there. It's not failure that bothers you. It's the fact that even when you're winning, you don't feel whole. And the strangest part, you don't know why, but you feel it. It's like there's a gap between who you really are and who you had to become to get here. The world sees results, but you feel the wear and tear, the invisible cost, the emotional weight of keeping everything together, including your own mind. This has a name, and more men are going through this than you think.
What you're feeling isn't weakness. It's the result of years spent operating under an identity you had to build, but maybe never really chose. It's like part of you was trained to perform, to achieve, to push through, while another part of you just watches, quietly. You learned how to fine-tune everything: the tone of your voice, the posture that shows confidence, the look that hides all doubt. But somewhere along the way, you started to drift away from yourself. And no one notices, because on the outside you look fine, but deep down, you know you're not. This feeling isn't random. It's neurological. It's emotional. It's a fractured sense of identity. Neuroscience calls it chronic emotional incongruence, a state where your brain learns to hold two realities at once: the image you show the world and the truth you keep buried. And it's exhausting. Your nervous system stays on high alert, even when there's no threat, even when you're home, sober, and safe. That's why you sometimes feel drained without doing anything, why Sunday nights feel so heavy, why even in moments of success, the silence feels worse than the pressure. This isn't failure. It's the cost of keeping a functional you disconnected from the real you. And the higher you climb, the harder it gets to see. Because applause is confusing. Busy routines keep you distracted, and digital comparison numbs the pain. You scroll through your feed, see everyone winning, and feel like you should be doing more. But inside, something starts to give. And that's where the real danger is. Because when a man can no longer hear himself, he starts living on autopilot, reactive, disconnected, trapped in a kind of tiredness that no amount of sleep can fix. He stops asking, "Who am I?" and only thinks, "What do I need to get done?" That's when many people lose themselves without even realizing it. But you're still here. Which means, maybe you're ready to come back to yourself, to reconnect with what you were never meant to leave behind.
You spent your whole life believing that strength was what would keep you going. Willpower, mental strength, emotional strength. But no one ever told you that strength on its own can become a cage, especially when it's used to hide how you really feel instead of dealing with it. What you're going through isn't a lack of discipline. It's not a lack of ambition, and it's definitely not a lack of effort. It's too much noise. Internal noise. Noise between what you feel and what you show, between what you think and what you say, between what you need and what you allow yourself to feel. That noise doesn't go away with more effort. It fades when you gain emotional clarity. And that's where things start to shift. You learned how to train your body. You learned how to train your focus. You learned how to train for professional performance. But no one taught you how to train your emotional performance. Emotional high performance isn't some motivational idea. It's not about feeling good all the time. It's about structure. It can be trained. It can be measured. It can be applied. It's the ability to keep your identity steady, even when everything around you changes. It's the skill of staying clear, even in the middle of chaos. It's the practice of making decisions without needing outside approval to feel right about them. It's knowing when to stay quiet, when to speak up, and when to let go completely. You're not born with this, but you can and should build it. It's what neuroscience calls advanced emotional self-regulation. A mix of mental processes, physical responses, and shifts in perception that shape how you respond to the world, and more importantly, to yourself. Men who train this aren't just calmer, they're freer. They don't live on autopilot, reacting to everything. They live by choice. They're not constantly tense. They're guided by something inside. And maybe what you're missing isn't more speed or more results. Maybe what you're missing is space. Space between what you feel and what you do with those feelings. That space is where real power lives. Because in that gap, your identity stops being reactive and starts becoming self-led. Emotional performance isn't what you show, it's what you hold on to when no one's watching. And that you can train.
Now that you get it, that what's missing isn't more effort, but less noise, it's time to train that. And what I'm about to show you isn't a technique, it's a cut. A simple one, but it starts to clear the clutter between you and you. It's called the silent cut. You're going to do it 3 times a day. That's it, just 3 times. No perfection, no rituals, just presence. Step 1, pause. At any point in your day, preferably when things feel fast and hectic, you'll stop for 30 seconds. Just 30. No phone, no distractions, no music, no trying to think positive. You just stop and watch. Your mind will resist. Your body will want to keep going, but you hold the pause. Step 2, name it. Clearly, honestly. Ask yourself, what am I trying to prove right now, and to who? It sounds like a simple question, but if you ask it with presence, it opens up a space you forgot was there. You start to notice how often your actions aren't coming from choice, but from fear. Fear of looking weak, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being seen.
If you've made it this far, it's probably because some part of you is tired. Tired of winning and still feeling like you're losing something. And maybe now you're starting to realize what's missing isn't more effort. It's not more control, not more strength. What's missing is less noise, less inner conflict, less need to prove yourself, less disconnect between what you feel and what you show. That noise, it doesn't come from the world. It comes from the armor you've learned to wear. An armor made of pressure, of comparison, of a heavy silence you called focus. But deep down, it was just protection. And that's okay, because it worked. It got you this far. But maybe, now, it's what's keeping you from going further. What I want to remind you is simple. You don't have to keep carrying yourself like you're a work in progress. You already know what to do. But maybe now, it's time to learn how to do it from a different place. From a quieter place, a steadier place, a place that feels more like you. Emotional strength isn't about doing more. It's about doing less with more presence, more awareness, more truth. It doesn't matter how far you go out there if you keep losing parts of yourself inside. You've come a long way, but now the real question is, can you stay? Stay with yourself. Stay whole. Stay present, without needing an audience, without needing a mask. Because in the end, true strength is quiet, and real freedom comes from within. So here's a question for you. Are you willing to see yourself without your masks? If that question spoke to you, drop a comment. I heard the call. Not for me, for you. Because sometimes what a man needs most is a safe space to remember who he is, before everything, before the world.